we've arranged this meeting in order to respond to public demand for information and having to do with the proposals that the Minister for the Environment has put forward regarding the future rural development programmes. The proposals that are there are to change the method of delivery of the rural development programmes from the current system where there are local action groups to a county council based structure under what's being described as a socio-economic committee. And our proposal, our meeting is in response to a huge amount of public demand to find out more about that, and our experience has been so far that an awful lot of people we've been dealing with in the past, people in rural communities and people in local areas, are extremely upset about this prospect. And the meeting today is to enable people to hear about the proposals and to have an opportunity to contribute to the debate on the proposals.
It's like leader groups have been around for nearly 25 years. And I know there has been change obviously in board members and staff, but there's a collective memory there. There's a collective institutional set of know-how, tools, skills, capacities that are built up in the organisation. And that would cost you an awful lot of money if you were to try to rebuild that. So it makes economic sense to preserve the model. But as somebody from the floor there pointed out tonight who's gone into a county structure, a county forum, it takes people a number of years. She mentioned a period of 10 years to learn the ropes and actually start doing development. Imagine if you were to set Mayo back 15 years by, dismantling or reducing the autonomy of a structure. And I was encouraged by some of the comments from our politicians this evening, and John O'Mahony talked about the need for South West Mayo to be involved in what he said, the intricate delivery of the programme. And that's intricately involved in delivery. And that's good. But the next step from that, if you're going to deliver something, you have to be able to make the decisions about it. I mean, it would be farcical if the decisions were being made in Castlebar, or more likely the decisions were being made in the Custom House in Dublin and being communicated to Castlebar via the County Council, and then trying to deliver those on the ground in your local communities. I mean, that would be absolutely an absurd type of scenario. So yes, Deputy O'Mahony has taken the first step in acknowledging the need for delivery at a local level, but the other parallel strand to that is decision making at the local level, and that's where your volunteers and that's where your communities need to be involved in the structure, that it has to be grounded and rooted in local communities. That's absolutely key. And while I'm on it, the other thing I suppose that I took some encouragement from this evening was the fact that the two government deputies referred to this working group that has been set up. They used the term working group, and they also said, the deal isn't done. And that's very encouraging. Myself and over 20 other academics had a letter into the Irish Times about 2 weeks ago, and we were very heartened because it elicited a response from the Minister. And he said, yes, there wouldn't be job losses, and he also, acknowledged the role of the local development sector. So I think, while, yes, we do have a very serious mountain to climb, there is a little chink of light coming. And I think with the groundswell of opinion now, if people here who were at this meeting tonight go back, talk to their communities, write to their TDs, write to their senators, write to the newspapers, and get the word out there. I think, in fairness to the Minister, he will listen to the groundswell of public opinion in this respect.
The basic question at play here tonight is the future administration of the leader funding that comes from Europe. And obviously there has been a model in place that has worked well. There's an opinion by the Minister that there's some need for reform on that. There's an acknowledgement by Southwest Leader and by Leader in general that there needs for reform, but obviously there's not a meeting of minds yet. And I suppose that's what tonight was about. There have been proposals put forward by Leader. There has been proposals put forward by the Minister. There's now a working group that has been set up where Leader have 3 representatives as part of that, and that's to, will decide eventually and make recommendations to the Minister of how the best way to administer the funding. The Minister has assured me, and I would support him on that whatever is the best model should be used. And the best model is the model that delivers most money to the communities. And I suppose any savings that can be made in an administration, that will be done as well. I think that, we're not talking, I suppose in 2013 is much different when the last funding started in the early years of the noughties, where you had a huge amount of funding available. We're all aware that has been an economic decline since that. So basically it's about getting more from less, but have a meeting on minds, because the main thing that came from the meeting here tonight is the huge, if you like, appreciation by the community of the model that's there, and that's the message that I will be bringing back to the Minister and feed in, if you like, to the process that's at play at the minute, just as the leader companies themselves are able to feed it in, because they are on the committee that's deciding on the way forward.